Welcome to another edition of Weathering the Storms of Life with the Rains. It's Rob Rains, Sally Tippett Rains. We wrap up another week here on STL Sports Page, also rainbowsforkids.org, bringing you our little daily quiz programs here as we get through the shelter-at-home order. And I know that it's been extended in St. Louis County now for a while, so I guess we're going to be doing more quizzes.
It's fun. It gives us something to do.
That, as well as the highlight of each quiz, is before we get started on the questions, we hear a few words of inspiration and words of wisdom from Sally Tippett Rains.
I write a blog called Choose Happy Blog, and today's topic is blame. Who can we blame for the fear we're facing during this time? Now, I've always liked the quote, are you going to be bitter or are you going to be better? But lately, I have been having another quote in my head that I made up. Am I going to be better or am I going to be badder when this whole thing's over? Don't let the bad in. Are you having a bad day? I hate to tell you this, but you are partly to blame for allowing yourself to have a bad day, because you could have a few bad minutes or a bad afternoon. But unless a death is involved, all of our days have a chance to have some good parts in them. So it's up to us to find the good. So you can check out my blog to read that blog on it's a Choose Happy blog on rainbowsforkids.org.
Also, hopefully you're checking out other things we have posted on stlsportspage.com. We know we're doing a lot of articles about how to get through the coronavirus, COVID-19 quarantines, and what's open, what's streaming, things like that, as well as obviously just a story I just posted about.
We actually have a sports story.
Adam Wainwright reached out to a bunch of different people in the organization, kind of how they're getting all through it, including Adam Wainwright and Nolan Gorman. So that's elsewhere on the site. So hopefully you check that out. In addition
that was actually
to,
a really good article.
Thank you.
So
our topic for today is pop culture questions. So we're going to come up with some questions. We're going to give you some questions, and then we'll go through all the questions and the answers. So if you want a piece of paper, jot down the answers, or just play along at home as you watch this quiz. Either one is perfectly okay, no prizes, but doing this just for fun. So we'll get started with the pop culture questions.
Question 1. Who is Beyonce married to? Who is Beyonce married to?
Question 2. At what location did the Friends meet? Friends being in quotes, the people on the TV show. At what location did they meet?
Number 3, what was Michael Jackson known as? Michael Jackson, what was he known as?
Question 4, former president passed away in June of 2004. Who was that? Who was the former U.S. president who died in June of 2004?
Number 5, who was famous for saying, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee? That was number 5, the famous person who said, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Question 6, what is the name of President Trump's youngest son? The youngest son of President Trump, what is his name?
Number 7, what TV show had been gone for a while and then it came back, only to have the main star dismissed for a public controversial statement? So they had been on the air for a while, they left. Were having a big comeback, and then the main person had a controversial statement.
Okay, question 8, still on television. Who won the first American Idol? The first year that American Idol was on television, who was the winner?
Number 9, who hosts the show The Voice in 2020? Who's the host of The Voice?
Number 10, Marshall Mathers. We know him by another name. What is it? What is the name that we know a gentleman whose real name is Marshall Mathers? What do we know him by?
Number 11. I really like this question. What do Paul Revere, J. Edgar Hoover, Betsy Ross, and Pope Alexander VI all have in common? What do all those
odd group of
strange people, Paul Revere, J. Edgar Hoover, Betsy Ross, and Pope Alexander VI, they all actually have something in common. What was it?
Question 12, most people streaming TV shows these days. What is the most watched streaming shows in 2019?
You can name there's 4 of them, the top 4 we're going to say, yeah. I think.
For what were the most streamed TV shows during the last year?
Or maybe the top 6. All right. Who are the top 5 most Googled actors in the world in 2019? Don't Google it. You're guessing now. Who are the top 5 most Googled actors, which is actor and actress is now called actors, in 2019?
Okay, speaking of Googling, those are the actors, but who is the most Googled person in the world in 2019? Whose name was the most Googled in people asking about him in 2019 in the world, any category or person.
Question 15. Who was the first winner of Survivor? The first winner of the show Survivor.
Question 16. What was the name of the family who used to do a show called Duck Dynasty? Used to be a popular show named Duck Dynasty. What was the name of the family involved in that show?
And speaking of old reality shows that aren't on, I don't think this is on anymore. What was Honey Boo Boo's real first name? Honey Boo Boo's real name.
Question 18. You probably saw the answer to that on one of these programs at some point. What is the name of the lawyer who started TMZ? The name of the lawyer who started TMZ, that is still on, I know, on Channel 2 every night here in St. Louis.
Question 19. Name 2 CNN hosts who tested positive for the COVID-19. 2 CNN hosts who have made it known that they tested positive.
And the final question for today's broadcast. What is the name of the YouTube sensation who reviews and tests toys for Walmart and other outlets? The name of the YouTube sensation who tests toys for Walmart and other outlets.
And I'm sure that if BJ and Karen are watching, they know the answer to that.
All right, time for the answers here then, for the pop culture questions of the day.
All right, did you know that? Who was Beyonce married to?
When I see the answer, I did. I couldn't have told it to you otherwise. Jay-Z. What location did the Friends meet on the TV show? That was Central Perk.
Michael Jackson was known as the King of Pop.
President who passed away in June of 2004 was Ronald Reagan.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee was Muhammad Ali.
Of course. Would you accept Cassius Clay as a correct answer?
Sure.
Okay. President Trump's youngest son is Barron.
And then the show that came back only to have the main star dismissed was Roseanne.
Which is,
And you were mentioning
it still came back, but they changed the name to the Connors. And it's still on
it
ABC.
came back as Roseanne, and then Roseanne did what she did,
So they
and
had-
then they brought it back
So
as the
they
Connors.
broadcast it, her, she actually died on the show, so they broadcast that into the show.
Right.
as they-
So if you said Connors or Roseanne, you can say you got that question right. Who was the first American Idol?
Kelly Clarkson.
Kelly Clarkson has her own show now, and it's really good. I was watching it the other day. It's on in the middle of the night if you can't sleep.
Who hosts the show The Voice? It's Carson Daly. Marshall Mathers, we know him as Eminem.
All those people, Paul Revere, J. Edgar Hoover, Betsy Ross, and Pope Alexander VI, were born on January 1st.
Interesting. The most watched streaming TV shows 2019. Number 1 was Unorthodox on Netflix. Number 2 was Elite, also on Netflix. I guess actually these are all on Netflix. Stranger Things was 3. Ozark, number 4. Crash Landing on You, and 6th, which is just now becoming really popular, Tiger King.
And I think that the most watched ever of that type of thing is Stranger Things. I thought I saw that.
The top 5 most Googled actors in the world in 2019, Jussie Smollett. You remember he was in a controversial situation there for a while. Kevin Hart, Joaquin Phoenix, Keanu Reeves, and Lori Loughlin.
Okay, and then this one surprised you.
It did.
As the most Googled person in the whole world, Antonio Brown, New England Patriots wide receiver, released due to allegations of wrongdoing, which he has denied. But
yeah, he was in the news quite a bit. First winner of Survivor was Richard Hatch. I do remember that.
And then Duck Dynasty was, of course, the Robertson family.
Mm-hmm. The Honey Boo Boo's first name is Alana. Actually,
Alana Thompson.
TMZ show's founder was Harvey Levin, still is.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 CNN hosts who tested positive for COVID were Chris Cuomo and Brooke Baldwin.
And then George Stephanopoulos of Good Morning America has always also tested positive.
Mm-hmm. And your favorite little guy on YouTube, who tests all the toys.
Wish we'd all done this with our own kid.
Ryan, how do you pronounce his last name? KJ?
KG, Ryan KG.
Ryan KG.
And for those of you who don't know who this kid is, Google him. But
when you walk through the toy aisle at Walmart, you'll find him because he's got every name. He's got a bunch of his own toys.
But it's like his parents him, and the kid is playing with a toy, or they're living their normal life, and they're making $1 million off of it. It's a
Crazy.
great idea. Wish we'd thought of it.
Yeah, we thought of weathering the storm of life quizzes with the
It's
Rangers.
not getting us that famous or that
Thanks for
much
joining
money.
us on this edition. Have a safe weekend. We'll see everybody back here with another edition of this broadcast on Monday. STLSportsPage.com, RainbowsForKids.org.